fastballs crushed.
We welcome you to Anaheim, California, where tonight the Houston Astros kick off this three-game road trip after a short three-game homestand. They play the first of three against the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. The Astros coming off winning 2 out of 3 against the Texas Rangers. They have a one-game lead in the American League West over the second-place Angels. Lance McCullers Jr. on the mound tonight for the Astros. Hi, everybody. Welcome. Todd Callis alongside Mike Stanton filling in for this series for Jeff Blum. And, Mike, these have been the top two teams in the AL West for the first month plus of the season. This should be a fun series.
It should be, and it is for, I know it's still May, but yes, this is for the division lead. They've done it in very different ways, though. The Astros have pitched extremely well, especially starting pitching. On the other side, it's been all about the bullpen.
And on the starting rotation that you mentioned, those 5 guys just keep challenging each other to get better. They put up huge numbers.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy how good these guys have been, and it would be historic if they continue this, but unfortunately at some point they are going to slow down. Right now, we haven't seen any of that whatsoever. These guys have done an outstanding job, each doing it in their own way, but the results have been the same, and that's been domination.
And for Lance McCullers Jr., the last 5 have been really good. What have you liked?
Well, we really didn't know what was going to happen coming out of Minnesota after that really bad start. He walked a bunch of guys, gave up a bunch of runs. Since then, he's been outstanding. The fastball usage has been up. The changeup usage has been way up. The breaking ball, hasn't been as good as we've seen it in the past, but because of those other 2 pitches, he's still been very effective.
So we'll see how he fares tonight against a team that he's done well against in the past, the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. George Springer is back in the lineup tonight for the Houston Astros after missing the last 2 games against the Rangers. We will hear from Julian Morales about George's impact in the lineup when we return.
3-game set against the Angels, and they brought a healthy lineup with them. George Springer missing 2 games after being hit by a pitch on the elbow Friday night. He is back in the lineup tonight. We'll lead things off for this entire game here in a couple of minutes, and we're hoping that he picks up where he left off. He was having an excellent month of May. We saw him have a great road trip, a historic one, putting up 6 hits and 6 ABs the other night. But for him, starting to feel really good at the plate. He says he's usually a slow starter, but was starting to feel good. So missing a couple of games hopefully won't do too much for him. Hopefully he'll get right back at it. And I know AJ's pretty happy to put his name right in there at that leadoff spot, as he's done almost every game since May 24, 2016. That's 292 games that he's done that, and he likes it. So does the team. These are the numbers since AJ Hinch made the change permanently in 2016. Look at the average there, 277, but their team record is 181, 111, and the team is definitely an under 500 club without him in there. So offense pretty good. Since he's been at the top, they're actually averaging more than 5 runs a game. He's the tone setter, guys, and he's going to do so tonight. Looks like he's got an elbow guard on as well. Guys, that was questionable before the game. He was saying he wasn't sure if he was going to wear it or not. Didn't like the feel of it. However, maybe a temporary thing as he still heals from getting hit by the pitch a couple nights ago.
Yeah, it's definitely a comfort zone thing, so we'll see if George sticks with it for the entire game or just goes with 1 AB. I imagine if he gets a hit that first time up, it might stick around for a little while.
Yeah, it's going to be all whether he can get used to it or not, and it is a little bit different. You know, there is a little bit of restriction there, so it's just going to be a matter of how he feels when he does get to swing the bat.
Astro starting lineup is presented by Southwest Airlines, and it's good to see George back in there and healthy. It was also good to see the Astros win a couple of games while he was nursing that elbow injury. He'll be followed by Alex Bregman. In the 3 spot is Jose Altuve after leading off the last couple of games in Springer's absence. Carlos Correa hits 4th. Yuli Gurriel will bat 5th and play first base. DHing tonight is Evan Gattis. Josh Reddick in right field batting 7th. Max Stassi behind the plate tonight for Lance McCullers Jr. He'll hit 8th. And Derek Fisher is in left field. That lineup will face the lefty Andrew Heaney.
Andrew Heaney, the tall left-hander, has thrown the ball extremely well the last couple times out. Throws a sinking fastball, changeup, and curve. That's it. Now he does move that fastball around very well. He'll throw it on the inside part of the plate to right-handers. He'll go down and away. His out pitch is that changeup against right-handers. So it's going to be a matter, can he get ahead in the count and get to that pitch?
Well, Heaney will make his 6th start of the season, taking on the Houston Astros tonight. The winner of this game, as well as the winner of the series, will be in first place in the division. If the Angels win, they'll be percentage points ahead. If the Astros win tonight, they'll move to 2 games in front of the Angels. Beautiful night. Perfect night in Southern California as George Springer back in the lineup to lead things off for the Astros, coming off a couple of 6-1 wins against the Texas Rangers. Pitching for AJ Hinch has been outstanding lately.
Yeah, it's really been crazy how good these guys have been, especially the rotation. And we'll talk about the bullpen, which has been good also. But it's good to see George back in that box.
George in there and takes the first pitch of the night, down and in for ball 1. George on a 9-for-14 run. He reached base a couple of times in his lone start against the Texas Rangers. He walked and then he was hit by a pitch by Cole Hamels and then left the game after running in that inning. The 3rd inning, left the game in the 4th. Clear skies, sun is setting here in Anaheim and 68 degrees at game time. George swings at the next pitch and fouls one back, and it's 1-2.
Yeah, beautiful night. Actually can see the mountains off in the distance. This is my first time in this press box, so I've never seen those mountains before. Down on the field, you can't see them.
Not been high enough to see them.
That's right.
You've been down in the bullpen area, which has switched since you were pitching, right?
It has. Now, I have been in this bullpen in left, but it was down the right field line when I first went to the American League.
1-2 pitch is inside for George. It's 2-2. Julie mentioned the elbow guard. You see it there on the left elbow where he's hit by a pitch. Some guys continue to wear the elbow guard. Alex Bregman has a modified version of it, but some guys just never get comfortable with it. Inside corner, George goes down looking for the first strikeout of the night for Andrew Heaney. Starting defense for the Angels is presented by Xfinity. In the outfield from left to right, Justin Upton, Mike Trout, Cole Calhoun leading baseball with 5 assists. On the infield, very good infield, Zach Kozark, Angelton Simmons on the left side. They cover a lot of ground. Ian Kinsler, Luis Valbuena on the right side. And the Gold Glove catcher from last year, Martin Maldonado. He really shuts down running games. Bregman takes a called strike.
And you saw just in the at-bat against Springer how he's going to move that fastball around. He doubled up on the inside corner and actually got the call on the second one to get the strikeout looking at George.
Heaney's pitched better lately. His last 3 starts, he's gone 5, 6, and 6 innings and allowed 5 hits and 1 earned run in 2 of those 3, and then 2 earned runs in his last start in Colorado. Counts 2-1. Those last 3, Heaney has a 2.12 ERA. Makes his 6th start of the year, 4 of the 6 coming here at Angel Stadium. Bregman takes away and it's 3-1. Brian O'Nora calling the balls and strikes tonight. The crew chief is at first base, field, and Colbreth. Chris Conroy and CB Bucknor is your umpiring crew. Bregman fouls one away. Alex has really had the best season in terms of staying in the zone and not leaving the zone, it seems.
Yeah, he hasn't hit all that well. He's hitting 265 right now, which is good. It's solid, especially he got off to a slow start. But, man, his ability to lay off pitches out of the zone has really been remarkable for such a young player. He really knows what his strike zone is.
Leads the team in walks in the top 5 in the American League. And this one into right field, and Calhoun is over and makes the catch on the move. Bregman hit it hard, but Calhoun with a good break catches it for out number 2.
And that's a nice sign for Bregman. Yeah, that's a hang with him, hit the ball well, gets to go back to the dugout for it. But to drive the ball the opposite field like he did, pitch out over the plate, didn't try and pull it. That's when Bregman's going his best, when he's able to use that whole field and really hit the pitch, hit the ball wherever it is pitched.
Now here's Jose Altuve. We saw the rare series against the Rangers where Altuve
How about that?
didn't reach base. 0 for 13. Altuve takes a called strike.
You know, for me, what's going on with Jose when he's at home in Minute Maid is he pulls the ball usually anyways, but his timing he's been so early, he just can't put the bat on the ball.
Down and in, almost hits him. It's 1-1.
And on the road, it's been the exact opposite. Him and Correa actually leading Major League Baseball in road batting average. Altuve being in second behind Correa, but really can't put your finger on why it is so different.
17 plate appearances, the longest Jose's ever gone without reaching base. He's currently at 13. And twice in his career, once in 2013, that streak you just saw a minute ago, and also in 2016. Has he gone as many as 4 games without a hit? This is popped in the air into shallow right, long run Calhoun. He's going to get there in fair territory, makes the play, and the Astros are out in the first. Andrew Heaney with a 1-2-3 inning. tonight, and they will face the right-hander for the Astros, Lance McCullers Jr.
Lance McCullers Jr. last 5 starts has been outstanding, has really done a nice job of incorporating, well, a relatively new pitch, and that's his changeup. Now, he's always had it. He's just using it a lot more, and that's a good thing because his breaking ball hasn't quite been what we have seen it in the past. Fastball usage is up, changeup usage is up, and he's had a lot of success with that against these American League hitters.
Making his 9th start of the year and taking on the Angels for the 10th time in his career. He has always had good numbers against the Angels, and especially here at Angel Stadium as he starts Zach Cozart off with a strike. Cozart walked off the game yesterday with a base hit as the Angels ended up beating the Twins 2-1 as they split that 4-game series. Slow roller to Carlos Correa, who makes the play for out number 1.
Lance McCullers takes on Mike Trout today by AARP, and he's had a lot of success against Trout, and here's that success. If you want to know what pitching north and south is, that's what this graphic is right here. You see the fastballs elevated in the zone, the breaking balls down, and because of that, he's actually been able to handle Mike Trout pretty handily.
Yeah, fastballs up, breaking balls down, and Trout is 2 for 17 against him. His 2 hits, a double and a home run, but Lance has really had the better in their head-to-head matchup so far. This is not the series that Trout is looking forward to as much as others because Lance, he's 2 for 17 against. There's only one guy he's faced 20 times or more that he has worse numbers against, and that's the guy who pitches here on Wednesday, Justin Verlander.
Yeah, the way these guys have been pitching, I don't think anybody really wants to face the Houston Astros starting rotation. At 1 to 5, it really doesn't matter. All of them are throwing the ball exceptionally well. And Lance is right there with Justin Verlander and Charlie and Garrett Cole.
You mentioned Lance with the curveball not being as sharp as it's been in times in his career. So now all of a sudden we're seeing the higher use of the changeup.
Yeah, and it's a pitch. It's a plus pitch. He just hasn't had any confidence with it, but this is one of those situations. It's a chicken or the egg thing. Does a pitch become good before you get confidence in it, or vice versa?
That one's fouled back. It's 2-2.
And Lance and Brent Straub, in between starts, they've been doing a lot of drills. They've been trying to figure out where that curveball has gone, and what we've seen is it basically has turned into a slider. A lot of horizontal movement. He's not having that depth that gets the hitters to swing over the top of it.
There's one on the inside corner for a called strike. Almost like Trout was anticipating the big hammer, and instead of getting the hook, he got the fastball in. Here is how the Angels will line things up against Lance McCullers Jr. We already saw Cozart and Trout. 3 hitters: Justin Upton, Albert Pujols DHing, Hamilton Simmons at shortstop, Luis Valbuena, the former Astro, at first base, Ian Kinsler, the second baseman, Cole Calhoun in right field, and Martin Maldonado, that's 9th. He is the catcher. Here is Justin Upton, having himself a big May with 6 home runs and 18 RBIs. And that pitch is inside, almost hits Upton, and goes all the way back to the backstop.
That was a fastball that just got away from Lance. He didn't mean to do it. You saw Max Stassi was actually set up on the outside corner. And that happens on occasion. Actually, it increases the fear factor of the hitter a little bit, so you can't dig in because you don't exactly know where it's going all the time. Or at least that's what you tell the hitter.
Effectively wild. That one's upstairs. It's 2-0. Lance consistently around 95, 96 tonight. Normally that fastball's around 94, so feeling pretty good here at the beginning of the game against the Angels.
Nice cool evening, feeling a little frisky.
Even though he's never won in this stadium, his numbers are really good. A 1.50 ERA at Angel Stadium in 3 starts. Last one coming May 6th of last year, where he went 7 innings of 2-hit, 1-run baseball, and that run was unearned. There's a curveball. Even though Stassi dropped it, it was right over the plate, and it's 2-2.
All right, here's our MD Anderson strike zone. This is one of the few breaking balls he's thrown so far. The break was okay. Now he left it on the inside part of the plate, and Stassi didn't catch it, but clearly inside that strike zone box from MD Anderson.
So now it's a 2-2 count. Ground out and a strikeout. And he gets another one as Upton goes down swinging. Lance strikes out Mike Trout and Justin Upton to end the first in a 1-2-3 inning. Brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. And by Arctic. Overbuilt, not overpriced. Little theme trip last night for the Astros, leaving Houston on their way to Southern California. It was all Houston Rockets.
Yeah, it was a casual night on the plane, and you saw Justin Verlander. He even had the ball.
Yep.
I mean, he was all in, had shorts underneath his tearaway pants. All good stuff.
Had the basketball dribbling through the halls to get to the bus to head out to California. It was a good time. Everybody was supporting the Rockets across the board. The team was wearing Rockets gear, hoping that they do well in their Western Conference Finals against the Golden State Warriors.
Always better after a win also.
No doubt about it. Verlander was as into it as anybody. He had the basketball, the tearaway pants, as you said, spinning the basketball in the team picture on the tarmac.
Yeah, everybody went all out. I think some of them were just happy they didn't have to wear, coats and ties and slacks. They were able to really just go nice and casual.
Outside to Carlos Correa, it's 2-1.
Heaney's not really missing by much, but he is off the corners just a little bit. He's missed some inside, he's missed some outside, but it's not like he's throwing the ball all over the place.
This ball is sent in the air into right field. Cole Calhoun is there, and he puts it away for out number 1. Julia, what did you think about the theme trip?
That was a lot of fun. The Rockets helped out by sending some stuff over for the guys, all the coaches wearing the polos. They look like they were a part of the staff for the Rockets. But it was fun to see, the new Rockets, the current Rockets jerseys being worn, Will Harris with the Clyde Drexler being worn, Lance McCullers with the Dream. But the amount of time spent on the perfect boomerang for Justin Verlander to rip off the pants was quite impressive to watch. I mean, they practiced it several times. Lance was doing the filming. They got it right, and it went viral, as it would. But it was really fun and entertaining to just watch them, the behind the scenes before getting on the plane as they worked on that and got the perfect shot.
That looked really good.
It did.
Yeah, and by the way, speaking of looking good, you had the cool jersey working.
Yeah, she did. She
had
did. The pipe showing.
I had some help from some of my Rockets friends, and
the gun show was out.
Yeah, I went for the MVP because that's how we roll.
That's how you roll. 1-2 the count to Yuli Gurriel, and a called third strike from Heaney. He has 2 strikeouts tonight. Both of them have been called third strikes, and there's 2 outs in the second.
We talked about moving that fastball around. You see Maldonado set up on the inside part of the plate. That pitch catches plenty of plate. Astros going to have to figure out how to get him out of there, because if they keep struggling in there, he's going to just continue to go back to the well on the inside corner.
Here is the hottest hitter in the Astros lineup right now, Evan Gattis. He had the lone hit in their loss 1-0 in Friday night's game, and he's continued that hitting streak, which is now up to 5 games. Power Player is presented by TXU. Gattis with home runs the last 2 games, and it's good to see because it's been a battle for him in 2018.
Made a mechanical change in his swing, is actually trying to stand up a little bit, and he's talked about trusting the process. And it hasn't been really easy, because especially in season, to make changes like that in season and have to face major league pitching. Yeah, you can understand why he's struggled, but he's starting to see the success that comes with all that preparation.
Not only is it difficult to make adjustments in season, here's the 1-1 pitch, but it's also your role as the DH is to hit, and when you don't have success, now you're sitting in the dugout for 2, sometimes 3 innings before you
just get to sit there and think about it. Yeah. And yeah, that is tough. That's why everybody can't be a DH. I mean, that is a tough. Being a part-time player isn't nearly as glamorous as it seems.
2-1 pitch is fouled, and it's 2-2.
You know, every DH that does it a lot, they have to figure out how to pass the time. You know, are they going to sit and watch the game? Are they going to go watch video? Are they going to not pay attention at all? Everybody does it a little bit differently, because a lot of times you can't just sit and stew over your last at bat, or else it's going to carry over into the next one.
Andrew Heaney has retired the first 5 Astros he has faced with a couple of strikeouts, and that one misses the edge, and the count's full on Gattis. Evan hitting .353 during this 5-game streak with a 1,095 OPS.
Yeah, that pitch is off the plate. Maldonado really made it look good, because he actually set up off the plate. Brian Nora, home plate umpire, didn't bite on it.
And he gets him by pulling the string with a changeup for the final out of the inning. 2 strikeouts in the inning, 3 in the game. California, Angels Stadium. Big rock display out in center field with the waterfalls. Always a nice attraction to go visit. It's one of the prettier stadiums you'll see. And we were talking before the game, it's somehow as nice as it is, because they've refurbished it a couple of times.
Yeah.
It's the 4th oldest stadium.
Yeah, they've redone this stadium several times. The playing surface is spectacular. visually, it's beautiful. You get down underneath in the tunnels and everything, you can still see that it's quite an old stadium. They've done a nice job of renovating.
Albert Pujols will be the first batter that Lance McCullers Jr. faces in the bottom half of the second inning. Pujols currently tied for 30th all-time on the hit list, coming in with 3,007. And he would try and break that tie in this series. Currently knotted up with Al Kaline. Bounces a foul. It's 0-2.
He also currently has a 9-game hitting streak, and the last time he had a 10-game hitting streak or more, you have to go all the way back to the end of August, beginning of September 2016. So it's been a little while.
Yeah, Pujols has been hot lately. The guy on deck, Andrelton Simmons, has been hot. Justin Upton, we mentioned his numbers in May. Starting to swing the bats a little bit here for the Angels and Mike Scioscia. Lance ahead of the count, 0-2. Slow ground ball to Correa. Pujols is running a little better this year, but Correa knows he still has time and makes the play for out number 1.
Lance McCullers, we're taking a look at the changeup usage. You can see from 14% to 25%. What does that mean in numbers? In his last 2 starts, he's thrown 50 changeups total, right about 25 each start. So it really has increased, and that's something him and Brent Strom have really been trying to pay attention to, along with the catchers, Max Stassi, to get him to use that changeup more. Now, you couple that with the idea that the breaking ball hasn't quite been where he wants it, you can understand why he's used so many changeups.
Started out Simmons in this at bat with the changeup and missed. It's 1-0. Julia, more on the changeup becoming a little more popular for Lance?
Yeah, and Mike was hitting on it. I mean, the curveball being a struggle for him as of late, kind of forcing that issue. And so it's not all bad when he doesn't have his best pitch. I mean, this is what he wanted to do coming into this season. But as far as that breaking ball, guys, he has been working on it for some time, going back to even that Minnesota start. It's kind of where it all began for him. But for him to be able to find a way to get through 5 in that last start against Oakland shows kind of the maturity of Lance. I mean, he gives his team a chance to win, they get the win. And so, you know, he was joking about it afterwards, but he was like, if anyone can find that curveball of mine, please overnight it to me. So even tweeting out to the fans right there, you know, making light of it. But it is something that he has been working on. You mentioned the drills for him. I know Strumy's been working on him opening up a little bit, so they are trying to find a way to get that in the zone.
A little flare into right center field. That was on the breaking ball. And Simmons didn't hit it hard, but he found the right spot.
He hasn't thrown very many of them. The first one we saw for a strike actually dropped in pretty nice. This one hung just a little bit. And take a look at the Mattress Firm Supermo, and you see how this pitch is on the inside part of the plate. Max Stassi is set up on the outside part, so the break seems to be okay, but he's just not getting it into the location that he would like.
Just the 3rd curveball he's thrown tonight, and has thrown 4 changeups of his 19 pitches. Here's Luis Valbuena. Astros put 3 on the right side of the infield against their former teammate.
Well, and talking about the changeup usage compared to the struggling breaking ball, yeah, it's one of the reasons why pitchers need multiple off-speed pitches, because you're not going to have everything all the time. You know, sometimes one's there, maybe the next time the other one is there, but at least you have an off-speed pitch to go to. If you're a 2-pitch pitcher and you lose one of them, now you're in trouble.
Well, prior to this year, Lance was primarily a 2-pitch pitcher.
Yeah.
And now he's got that 3rd weapon to go to with the changeup. So part of the maturation process is when he doesn't have his best curveball, learning to trust that changeup, which seems to be getting better and better.
Well, and the more you use it, the better feel you get, the more confidence you have in it, because it is a plus pitch. And this whole idea with the breaking ball not being there, it's really perplexing to Lance, because I don't think this has really ever happened to him before. That he's, you know, that has been his signature pitch. Yeah, he's always had a good fastball, but it's been about that high spin rate breaking ball. And the problem he's having right now, it's got too much east and west break.
He loved it so much he threw it 24 straight times to close out the ALCS. And
I think Astros fans remember that.
winning or saving Game 7 for the Astros against the New York Yankees. Getting the final outs with 24 consecutive curveballs. But this year, then mixing it up a little more. There's a changeup, and that changeup with really good depth.
That was a good one. He got that one on the plate, started it towards the middle of height-wise in the zone, and watch this thing just drop off the table. That's the change. Now, like I said, that is a good changeup. That's not just a change of speeds. That's got good depth, good movement on it also.
Stassi set up inside on this 2-2 pitch. Runner on the move, and the throw is safe at second base. Carlos Correa would like to see if there's a chance a review might change the call, but for now, stolen base for Andrelton Simmons, his 5th steal of the year.
You know, Max Stassi is such a good catcher behind the dish. He's gotten better at calling a game, but he's got such a quick release. And then a strong arm to go with it. Carlos kind of got the bag blocked just a little bit. Ooh.
That was close. Not enough to overturn it, so the Astros don't challenge. Counts full on Luis Valbuena. Normally this would be curveball time against the lefty full count. There is the curveball, and it's sent into right center field. That'll drop for a hit. Good jump off second by Simmons. He will score easily. Angels take the early 1-0 lead on the RBI single by Luis Valbuena. It's a good read by Simmons off second base to get that kind of jump.
Yeah, he noticed that Valbuena didn't hit this very well. Now we see the Luis Valbuena bat flip. We remember that very well. You know, another breaking ball. This was in a little bit better spot, and Valbuena just did a better job of getting the barrel of the ball, the barrel of the bat to the ball, and dropping it into right center field. That's a nice piece of hitting by Luis Valbuena.
So the stolen base helps the Angels create the first run, as Lance misses low to Ian Kinsler. It's 1-0. Kinsler 1 for 11 this year against Houston, but he's been hitting better lately at 6 for 16. They have Cozart now at the top of the lineup and giving Ian a chance to find his way a little bit lower in the lineup. Tried to hold up, but it's 1-1. Overall in the season, Kinsler batting .213. A couple of home runs and 5 runs batted in. Last 3 starts for Lance on the road. Gave up 1 run against Seattle in 7 innings on the 17th of April. 1 run in 6 innings against the White Sox the next start. And his last start out, as we mentioned, not his best stuff, but still able to hang in there. Go 5 innings of 2-run baseball. This ball is a diving stop by Correa to Altuve, and they turn it. What a double play. Carlos Correa starts it beautifully, and the Astros get out of any further damage with an incredible double play.
Kinsler hit this ball hard. But look at the range by Correa. Altuve with the quick turn. Pitcher's best friend, double play.
Twitter at ATT Sportsnet SW. That's where you can follow and you can vote which Astros player will have the best series against the Angels in Anaheim. That's right. We want to know right now. George Springer, Jose Altuve, Carlos Correa, or somebody else.
No pressure there.
A little pick-to-click action.
Stropole with attitude. That's right. I'm telling you who to pick. Who do you have, Julia?
Oh.
I mean, odds say
I'm going
take
with the
field.
odds. Yeah, I'm going to go with the odds. I'm going to go with somebody else.
Yeah, what does Altuve hit against the Angels in his career? 350?
349, yeah, you're right there. 349. Career hitter. You going there?
That's easy, yeah.
You making a call?
Let's do it. Let's get him going.
All
Talking
right.
about the guy that's over 14 now.
Well, the field did all right there as Josh Reddick sends one into right center field towards the wall. Reddick digging for two, and he will get there easily. A leadoff double for the Astros in the third. Good to see Josh get a hit in his first game of the road trip. He has hit much better at home this year, but that was a ringing double to right center.
This was a nice swing. Left on left damage right here. Fastball out over the plate. Lets it travel, and that's the key when you're facing pitchers of the same arm side as you're hitting, is you got to let the ball get deep. He did a nice job of barreling that ball, driving it almost to the wall for that double.
Now here's a guy who has been raking left-handers all year long. Max Stassi's 11 for 21 against lefties. And he takes a called strike. Stassi has 11 hits, 4 of them doubles, 1 home run in 21 at-bats. And an RBI situation here with the Astros down 1-0 in the third. And there's another base hit for Stassi against the lefty. Reddick makes the turn, slipped a little bit, but it won't matter. Max Stassi RBI single. We're tied at 1.
Josh Reddick showed his athleticism right there by not doing a face plant right in front of Gary Pettis, the third base coach. He stumbled coming around, kept staying on his feet, scored the run.
Max Stassi, he's going to be about 300 on the season, but lefties, he is just hitting at a great clip. 12 for 22 now. You kind of saw the tail end there of Reddick almost going down on that turn of third.
You know, that swing by Stassi with a guy in a runner in scoring position, it was perfect because he didn't try and do too much. You know, if he tries and hits that ball out of the ballpark or something like that, it's probably a ground ball to shortstop. So what does he do? Just hit it up the middle, take the RBI.
Absolutely. And if at the worst case scenario, Simmons makes the great play up the middle, you've at least advanced the runner to third.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he did a nice job of staying on his feet. We saw Altuve and Trout both do face plants rounding second. What was it, last year, year before?
Trout was making fun of him.
Yeah, he was.
Same thing happened to Mike.
Baseball gods jumped up and bit him.
Here's Derek Fisher, number 9 hitter, down to the count 0-1. And now it's 0-2. Fisher also, like Evan Gattis, riding a 5-game hitting streak. And like Evan Gattis, has a .353 average during that stretch.
So I used a term a minute ago with Josh Reddick about letting the ball get deep. And what that means is you got to let the ball get as close to the catcher as you can before you start your swing so you can accelerate through the ball. And that's where you get to drive the ball either out of the ballpark, in the gaps, or whatever. When you're off balance and you're early, you don't accelerate, you actually decelerate to the ball.
Haney picking up his 4th strikeout, getting Fisher for the first out of the third. And now he'll face the lineup for the second time around.
Last time up, George struck out on 2 inside fastballs. Let's see if George looks for that pitch in this at-bat.
Ground ball slowly hit towards Simmons. He will flip for 1, and the turn gets 2. George Springer hits him to a double play to end the third. But the Astros tie it on the Max Stassi RBI single. It's 1 apiece. defensive rankings, 110 assists this year without an error, and an 878 zone rating. I know we're in the land of Andrelton Simmons' home ballpark. He of the Gold Glove shortstop and kind of the gold standard of shortstops, but I'm not sure if anybody's having a better defensive year than Carlos Correa.
Well, he's just so athletic, even at his size. And I like the way he's kind of creative. You know, we've seen him do it a couple different ways. We've seen him go into the hole, plant on his right foot, and throw like a pitcher. We've seen him do the underhand toss. We've seen him do so many different things. But, hey, no errors. That means he's been perfect.
And his zone rating, the best in baseball. And Andrelton Simmons right now is 4th, with Lindor trailing Correa as well. We know what kind of skills he has offensively, and this year we have seen him take a huge leap defensively.
Yeah, he's always been good, but he's a type of player that he's still young. He's still developing, and he's getting, it seems like day to day, he's getting a little bit more comfortable with who he is as a defensive player. We already know how good he is offensively. Defensively, he seems to be even getting better.
We saw him turn that double play, and that was an example of how his first step has really so much more improved this year, it seems, as Cole Calhoun misses the changeup. It's 1-2. Correa turned a double play. If that play's not made, if he doesn't get to that ball at the end of the second inning off the bat of Kinsler, it's 1st and 3rd, 1 out instead of an inning-ending double play.
Yeah, he's in a little bit of trouble if that play's not made, and Carlos did a great job of keeping it to the infield.
Calhoun just barely staying alive.
So here's that play, and you see Carlos extension. The ball's actually almost behind him. Jose Altuve right where he needs to be, expecting Carlos to make the play, because he usually does. Just does a really nice job of concentrating on the ball, catching it, and then the backhand flip to Altuve to turn the double play.
Up high to Calhoun, it's 2-2. It's Cole Calhoun, Martin Maldonado, Zach Cozart, 8-9-1 in the Angels lineup. Both teams scoring a run in their last half inning. Angels with an RBI single by Luis Valbuena, and the Astros answering back with Max Stassi. This one off the glove of McCullers, but quick reactions allow him to make the play. And that's 1 out in the 3rd.
Talking about athletic, this is not an easy play for the pitcher, because Lance's momentum is taking him towards first base. To see him reach back across his body, yeah, he gets leather on it, knocks it down. That's really all you have to do, because once you knock it down, that ball was hit pretty well. It's an easy play to first base. But nice job getting leather on that one. Sometimes you don't catch the ball as much as you're like a goalie. You just try and knock it down.
Knock it down, keep it where you can recover and make a play, which Lance did. Now he'll face the number 9 hitter, Martin Maldonado. We mentioned all the hot hitters for the Angels, and this guy's right up there. He's hitting .583 in the month of May.
Yeah, we're not talking about just a couple of days here.
No.
The 14th.
That includes 4 doubles and a home run. They have really been swinging the bats well.
Now that was actually a good breaking ball.
Okay.
It wasn't in the zone.
Yep.
It was down and away. It wasn't a strike, but that's the type of thing that's going to help him get that feel for it. Now he's made that correction. Now he's got to make another one and work it back onto the plate.
Goes back to the changeup.
Goodness.
Really good changeup. It's 1-2.
American League hitters cannot be happy that Lance McCullers has very quickly developed another secondary pitch.
He's thrown 10 changeups, 3 for swinging strikes, 1 for a called strike, and only 6 curveballs. Actually, he's thrown 11. That last one was his 11th for 4 swinging strikes to go along with that called strike. Now the curveball, and Gurriel's going to need Lance's help as he tosses to his pitcher covering, and that'll retire Martin Maldonado for out number 2. Join the Astros Foundation on June 24th at the annual Picnic in the Park presented by Pluckers. The event features a picnic buffet, an autograph session with Astros players, and family-friendly activities. All proceeds benefit local youth baseball and softball programs in the greater Houston area. For tickets and info, visit astros.com/picnic. 2 out, space is empty. Back to the top of the order, Zach Kozar takes a strike. He grounded out to short his first time up. Angels did a good job finding the pieces that they needed to kind of complete their team going into the season. Zach Kozar, one of those nice acquisitions.
Yeah, longtime Major League shortstop, actually known as a glove guy. And I was actually asking around today, and they said he looks like he's a natural at third base. He's so good defensively and always has. Now, he's turned himself into a good offensive player also. But, you know, what's kept him in the big leagues for as long as he has really been his glove. So he's made that transition to third base, seems like just seamlessly.
With Angelton Simmons and Kozar on the left side of the infield, how many ground balls getting through those guys?
That's a lot of range.
Same could be said for Bregman and Correa for the Astros. 1-2 pitch is grounded towards Bregman, but foul. Both teams with 1 run and both teams with 2 hits. Lance got helped out with a double play last inning, and Andrew Heaney had a double play to end the top half of the third. There's a curveball bounced into the Angels dugout right near Shohei Ohtani, who we may see as a hitter the next couple of nights.
Pitched yesterday, actually threw the ball well, struck out 11. That was against the Minnesota Twins, I believe.
Yes, Sunday starter seems to be the trend for him. 1-2 pitch misses inside. It's 2-2. He gets to face Garrett Cole and Justin Verlander.
Good luck. He is a left-handed hitter,
yep.
So he does have that going for him. But we're going to see how he handles velocity, well, kind of like he throws when he's pitching.
No doubt. 2-2 pitch grounded towards Bregman. One third baseman retires the other, and Lance McCullers has himself a 1-2-3 inning with 3 ground outs. The Astros and the Angels. We head to the 4th inning.
Are those called Angel dogs? Well, they're not Dodger dogs.
Well, you would think by proxy, if they call them Dodger dogs down the road a little bit, those would be Angel dogs. But I don't know. We'll have to find out.
All right, I'm hungry now.
Alex Bregman to lead things off against the 26-year-old left-hander. Andrew Heaney. One time through the lineup, the Astros were 2 for 9 against him. That's kind of standard with where he's been this season, as he's allowed a 200 batting average to the opposition first time through. Second and third time through the order, though, Heaney's allowed a 328 batting average.
Yeah, he hasn't been going really deep into the games. But you can kind of say that about all the Angels pitchers, since their bullpen leads the world in innings pitched and appearances, and Mike Scioscia has had to go their relievers a lot this season.
It's an interesting setup, and you understand why they're doing it with Ohtani, but they're trying to allow him to have basically one game started every week, and that can mean other guys have to filter through the rotation if you need to pick up 6 games in a week.
Well, going into the regular season,
Bregman sends one high to center field. Playable. Mike Trout is there. And that's out number 1. Julia, Jose Altuve coming to the plate. What do you have?
Well, he is the Shiner Box Spotlight. That's where it's falling. Trying to get Jose Altuve going. It always helps when he's on the road, though. Road warrior. On the road since 2015, hitting .349. That's 358 hits, more than anyone else. He leads the majors when it comes to hits and a lot of things, but especially on the road, he usually gets it going. So we hope to see that today. And of course, we were just talking about his numbers against the Angels. That always helps too, and in this ballpark. So,
well, let's see if you bring him some luck, because you did take him in tonight's poll.
Absolutely.
So see if you're his lucky charm.
I'll take credit.
Of course you will.
Yeah.
We've got the field, Julia. Field has 2 hits and a run. Here's a foul ball back to the screen. It's 0-2. But yeah, why not? I mean, Altuve's due. You never see an 0 for 14 from him, or for very rarely. We showed you how long it's been.
Well, already tonight he's taken a little bit better swings. Yeah, he's fouled some pitches off. This last one was straight back, but you got to pay attention to his balance when he's swinging. So that's a pretty good changeup, but that's an off-balance swing, and we've been seeing that a lot as of late with Jose Altuve, and you know that was just a good pitch. But we've even seen him do this on fastballs. But this was a changeup by Heaney, and you know got it in a good spot after throwing a fastball. So he sped. That's called, you know, you speed the hitter up to slow him back down, and that's what happened with the changeup.
That's his big weapon. He's been getting a lot of chase on that pitch this year, as he gets Altuve for strikeout number 5. Here's Carlos Correa. And he drops in the breaking ball.
The changeup is his go-to pitch. Oh, actually, this was a little breaking ball. But same effect. It's an off-speed pitch. It's going down in the zone. But the reason Jose was out in front of that was because the pitch before was actually it was a fastball up in the zone a little bit. And Jose missed it, fouled it straight back.
Astros have seen Heaney twice before, but not since 2015. So some of these guys have only seen him for a few at-bats here and there. Nobody had more than 5 at-bats against him. He made his Angels debut against the Astros back on June 24th of 2015, and then started against them on September 13th that season. Part of the reason they haven't seen him last 2 years is because of injury. Spent the majority of last season on the DL recovering from Tommy John surgery.
That's been a big issue with all these Angels pitchers. And what I was saying before with Ohtani, that's not the issue that's messing everything up. That coming into this season, their whole rotation was question marks. Whether they were going to be able to get even 25 starts, much less, 30, 32 starts from these guys. Guys like Tyler Skaggs and Garrett Richards. These guys all coming off of injuries, none of them having long track records of staying healthy on the field.
Yeah, that was when everyone discussed the Angels and their possibility of challenging for the AL West. That was the big question mark.
And I think it's one of the reasons why you got to look at this team a little bit in surprise, because they haven't, their ERAs are okay, but their rotation just hasn't given them very many quality starts. They haven't been going deep in the games at all.
5-pitch walk to Carlos Correa as Yuli Gurriel swings through the first pitch. Heaney's not afraid to start with a changeup in the sequences.
No, it's his best pitch. It's his go-to pitch. So he's going to throw in any count, any situation.
Throws that thing out of the zone 70% of the time and has one of the highest chase rates on the changeup of anybody in baseball. So far, he's allowed back-to-back hits to Josh Reddick and Max Stassi, and that walk to Carlos Correa, the only other base runner tonight. And now he's ahead 0-2 on Yuli Gurriel. Yuli's hit in 13 of the last 14. Not sure he agreed with that last call.
Ooh. That's a pretty nice pitch. Fastball, outside corner. I mean, if it's a little off the plate, on the plate, he executed the pitch nicely. So Brian O'Nora gave him the benefit of the doubt.
Now they're coming in on Yuli on this 0-2 pitch, and he drills one to center field that Mike Trout is there for, and he puts it away for the final out of the inning. A walk and one man left on base. We're through 3.5, tied at 1. Astros and Angels battle for first place in the AL West. Lance McCullers Jr. got 3 ground ball outs in the 3rd inning. In fact, he has 7 ground ball outs tonight out of his 9 outs. The other 2 are strikeouts. That's nothing new for Lance. That ground ball rate has gone up every year beginning in 2015, and it's an all-time high coming into this year. And now Mike Trout puts one in the air for the first time. First fly ball out of the evening as Josh Reddick puts it away for out number 1.
All right, No Player Does More is presented by HEB. We've talked about the success that Lance McCullers has had against these Angels. In 9 career starts, he has just been outstanding. Sub-2 ERA. They haven't gotten very many hits. Hitting below 200 for opponent's batting average. Has just done a really nice job. And what he's baffling them with tonight isn't the breaking ball. It's actually the changeup. The fastball changeup combination is working extremely well right now for Lance McCullers.
Yeah, we were looking at that in between innings, Mike, and 14 changeups so far to just 10 curveballs, and that 10th curveball we just saw Mike Trout put in play. Of his 10 curveballs he's thrown, 6 of them have been put in play. So it's not like he's getting the swings and misses or the called strikes that we normally see with that pitch.
Yeah, he's actually given up a couple hits on breaking balls. One of them was the RBI single. So, you know, the breaking ball still isn't quite where it needs to be, but every hitter he gets out without the breaking ball, that's just part of the maturation process going forward, getting confidence in that changeup.
So as the changeup improves, at some point that curveball will come back. It's his favorite weapon. It just hasn't been on point the last couple starts for him. But now all of a sudden, if that changeup, if he exudes the confidence in that pitch anywhere close to what he does with the curveball, look out.
You know, if this was the end of the season last year, and he lost his breaking ball, you wouldn't have been able to use it because that was the only pitch he was really throwing at the time.
There is a base hit in the left field, and that's the curveball again. And you could tell Lance is a little frustrated after that last base hit. Kind of put his hands on his knees, and he was just. This is the pitch that has always been his bread and butter. Tonight is being put in play.
And we're not just talking about in Major League Baseball. We're talking about, you know, in his baseball career. And if you notice, that pitch just doesn't have any depth to it. It's basically, you know, a little slider, almost cutter. And at 86, 87 miles an hour, that's into the hitting speed. There's just not enough speed differential to make that an effective pitch.
You can see his frustration after that 0-2 pitch was sent into left field, and now a fastball comes in to Albert Pujols. It's 1-0. But to his credit, and I can't imagine what it's like to have that much confidence in that hammer and to kind of lose the effectiveness with it and still be able to, he's navigating through this lineup and still in a 1-1 game.
You know, Todd, very early in my career, I had a shoulder injury and I lost my fastball.
Wow.
I missed most of the 1990 season. Coming back in 91, in spring training, I actually changed my mechanics, trying to get a little bit more velocity, have that come back. And it took probably all the way into June before the fastball came back. But I was in the big leagues. I had to go with the breaking ball. I had to learn to change up. There were other things I had to do to be successful. And what it ended up doing was making me a better pitcher down the road.
Which is what could be happening
absolutely
right now with Lance. 2-1 the count to Pujols, and Pujols fouls one back. It's 2-2.
Did you have that one? That was right over our heads.
It was right over our heads.
You know, you hit one in the dugout. What do the players do? They scatter.
And that was a little high, a little bit too high for us to make the play, but we might get a chance before this series is out.
I don't think it's out of the question. We'll have to keep on our toes.
Pujols
I didn't even bring a glove.
Pujols grounded one to short his first time up. If he does that again, Correa will try and turn 2 on Albert. This one chopped a little slower, and Bregman cuts it off, makes the play to second. Altuve gets the turn. He's knocked over at second base by Upton, but he still is able to make the turn for the double play to end the 4th inning.
Altuve hanging in there nicely, knowing that Pujols is running, goes ahead and makes the turn. Clean slide by Upton, standing right on top of the bag. Altuve did nice staying in there, making the throw. Springer's historic games. Plus, Colin McHugh rides into history in a bullpen cart. All that and more on Astros Bases Loaded after the game and re-airing all week long on AT&T Sportsnet.
Did you ever ride a bullpen cart?
I did not.
Were they ever available to you?
No, the only place that had a vehicle was Old Milwaukee, and it was the
the sidecar?
Ultra Classic with the sidecar, the motorcycle with the sidecar, and that was just to take your jacket to the bullpen.
Here's Evan Gaddis leading things off. And Gaddis gets into one to left field, sending Upton back, still going back, looking up. It bounces up and off the wall, not over the wall. It's in play. Either way, Evan's going to get to second base with a leadoff double here to start the fifth.
Evan Gaddis has put some good swings on the ball. This is a pitch that's, well, we'll call it out over the plate, but it's not even close to being out over the plate. This was a changeup. Look at Evan get those big old arms extended, and he did a nice job of letting that ball travel. It was closer to the catcher. He was able to get the barrel on the ball and drive the ball over Justin Upton's head in left center field.
That was well struck by Gaddis, who is really at the best point of his season right now with a 6-game hitting streak and hitting the ball hard his last 3 games. A couple of home runs in that double.
Talking to Gaddis the last couple of days after those homers, guys, he's not satisfied. And I think that's the most important thing. There's a lot of work to be done. He does believe in the process and what he's working on, but he's not there yet. So this is all a good sign, but you almost feel like there's more to come. Plus, he's one of those guys where homers come in bunches, and he knows that. So if he can get hot and get something going out right now, then he'll feel like he's really contributing, and that's all Evan Gaddis is about.
Well, he hit that ball to left center field where it's 390. And the distance, according to StatCast, was 383 on that line drive. So if he pulled a little more, he could have had 3 home runs in 3 games.
Well, he's such a streaky hitter. You know, we've seen that in the past, and the home runs do come in bunches. Right now, timing is good, the bat path is good, and he's so strong.
Reddick thought about a bunt and took it for a strike. And it's 1-2. He's thinking about trying to get Evan Gaddis over to third base with 1 out. Maybe even pick up a hit in the process. Josh doubled his first time up and scored the only run for the Astros on the RBI single by Max Stassi. Heaney picks up the strikeout. That is strikeout number 6 for Andrew Heaney. And there's 1 out in the 5th inning.
That's probably an at-bat that Josh Reddick would like to have back. That strike 3, that was a breaking ball down the way. It wasn't even close. The fake bunt didn't get it down, so that's not one he's going to put into the archives as a quality at bat.
See if you get another quality at bat out of Max Stassi, whose season average is up to an even 300, and he's 12 for 22 this year against left-hand pitchers. Had the same scenario his last time up with Josh Reddick on second base. Now he's got Evan Gaddis in scoring position.
You know, Todd, it's not an easy job being, we can't really call him a backup catcher because he still catches quite a bit during the week, but to keep your timing and keep your confidence in yourself offensively and working with this pitching staff, you know, he's done a really nice job of not just accepting the role, I'm just happy to be here. He's getting his work in. Goodness.
No, Maldonado does a nice job behind the plate, but that one extended the plate a little bit. And another strike called. It's 0-2.
You know what Martin Maldonado's doing behind the dish is he's actually setting up off the plate, and he's taking Brian Nora with him. And so umpires, you don't usually see umpires move. They kind of stay in the same position because then they know exactly where the plate is. And Maldonado's doing a nice job of presenting those balls as strikes, even though they may be occasionally a little bit off the plate.
Now the first one was definitely off. And Stassi down on the count 0-2. Now Heaney wants a little discussion here with Maldonado. Heaney started his career with the Marlins, made his debut with Miami in 2014, and then in the winter meetings that offseason leading into the 2015 season, he was actually traded twice in the same day. Got traded from the Marlins to the Dodgers, who quickly turned him around in a 1-for-1 for Howie Kendrick with the Angels.
So does he get a Dodgers uniform to hang in his closet?
I don't know if it was a matter of minutes, hours, but it was certainly less than a day.
I guess, did he get a number? I guess is the
I don't think he even had a number. It was a pretty quick turnaround, but we mentioned Heaney made his debut as an Angel against these Astros. Pitched twice against them in that 2015 season. Ahead of Stassi 0-2. Bounces up there, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes.
You know, trades like that, they don't happen all the time, but they're also not overly rare. And basically what happens is you get a third team involved because maybe, you know, one team doesn't quite like your prospect package or something like that, and you're able to turn. It's not, you know, Jeff Luna was sitting right next to us in the next booth. We could ask him. It's not easy to do, and that's why we don't see it very often, but it does happen occasionally.
He was part of a multiplayer trade between the Marlins and the Dodgers, and then a 1-for-1 from the Dodgers to the Angels. Stassi goes down swinging. He may have chased one out of the zone there for strikeout number 7 for Heaney. He has a season high of 9 strikeouts coming against the Yankees. Struck out 9 in only 5 innings of work against the Bronx Bombers back on April 27th. Here's Derek Fisher. Astros with 3 hits tonight, a couple of doubles and a single. Heaney's walked 1 and struck out 7. And he starts Fisher off with a breaking ball 0-1.
You know, Derek has shown some really big power with pitches out over the plate. Inside, he's had a tough time covering the inside part of the plate, but when you get something elevated out over the plate, man, we've seen him drive the ball and to the biggest part of the field, usually center field.
Nice block by Maldonado. It's 1-1. And we've seen 2 big blasts from Fisher this year, both to straightaway center. One came against the Angels, Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah, that was on a 98 or 99 mile an hour fastball, and he didn't even look like he took a big swing, but it just showed what kind of hands, what kind of bat speed he possesses when he gets extended and gets the timing right.
That's on the corner, and it's 1-2. The most recent big drive came against Daniel Mengden, who was dealing for the A's. 6 2/3 innings of shutout baseball, and then Stassi and Fisher hit back-to-back home runs, and Fisher's was way up there in the stands in Oakland.
Yeah, and I think Stassi was opposite field. He hit into the Astros bullpen in right center field.
Called third strike on the 1-2 pitch, and Heaney has an 8 strikeout game going so far. We're still tied at 1. Brought to you by Rooms to Go. Don't miss the big Memorial Day sale going on right now. And by Buick. Visit your local Buick dealer. Back in Anaheim, 1-1 game, halfway home. Bottom half of the 5th inning we go. Todd Callis alongside Mike Stanton filling in for Jeff Blum. Julian Morales with us as well, as Lance McCullers Jr. faces Andrelton Simmons and starts him off with a pitch up and in for ball 1. Lance so far has allowed 3 hits, and he has not walked a batter. He has struck out 2, but none since the first inning. He's had 2 double play balls get him out of the 2nd and the 4th respectively. And there was a swing and a miss for strike 1.
Yeah, he's pretty much almost completely gotten rid of the 4-seam fastball. Everything he does now is 2-seam fastball. Everything's going down in the zone. Then you get the changeup and the breaking ball. When the breaking ball's right, that's where all the ground balls come from.
Pop foul. Yuli Gurriel doesn't make the play. Yuli was kind of trying to see where he was on the field and had a little more room than he realized.
Wasn't exactly sure where that wall was. What you're usually taught is get over there, even if you need to take a look and find that wall, find the wall and then work back onto the field instead of drifting. And you see him kind of tippy-toeing right at the end, still having a few feet before he got there.
This ball hit in the air to center. Springer turning one way and kind of easing on back, and he makes the play for out number 1. Mike, after this batter, we'll give you a chance to, I know you talk about how Lance has gone to the 2-seamer, and we see so much run with that 2-seamer. We get a lot of questions from viewers. Maybe after this batter, you could show us the difference between a 2-seam and a 4-seam, and what the difference is for a pitcher as he now faces Luis Valbuena.
Yeah, the difference in the movement and the spin on the ball.
Valbuena tries to bunt against the shift. Valbuena, his first time up, singled to right on the curveball, ended up driving in a run. Is the only run for the Angels. All right, take us through it.
All right, so you have a 4-seam fastball, which you hold cross seam like this, and the ball has a tendency to ride. A 2-seam fastball, you put a little side spin on it. It doesn't spin at quite as high a velocity, and that's actually what lets the ball settle or sink. And when you do things like that, the hitter sees where the trajectory on the ball is. It falls off, you catch the top of it, and there's your ground ball.
What did you throw?
I threw a 4-seam fastball and a 2-seam fastball, but my 2-seam fastball didn't really sink. It didn't really sink. What it did, actually, it just tailed. So I threw a tailing fastball, and then when I went inside on a right-hander or away from a left-hander, I went 4-seam fastball because I wanted that ball to stay true on that side of the plate.
When you watch Lance throw his 2-seamer, are you seeing more sink, fade, or a combination?
It's a combination of both. He gets on the side of the ball just a little bit, so the ball spins a little sideways, so it gets a lot of run, but then it also has a little bit of depth, and that's where the hitter kind of swings over the top and catches the top part of the ball.
Picked up a strikeout there of Luis Valbuena, his former teammate, and now bounces one into Ian Kinsler. And that was the 2-seam fastball he just threw, just spiked it a little bit, and it's 1-0 to Kinsler.
Yeah, with that low 3/4 arm slot that he has, occasionally he loses the ball, either releases it a little bit early, and that's the one that kind of chases the right-hander, or he holds on to it just a split second too long and pulls it across the plate.
Lance wants Stassi to go through the signs again. Did pick up a strikeout on the curveball to the last batter, so that's a good sign in the right direction. Now Lance is going to have a little meeting with Max. For some reason, with 2 outs and a 1-0 count, they couldn't get on the same page. Nobody on base in this 1-1 game.
Join the Astros this Saturday for Faith and Family Night, presented by Chick-fil-A Houston. Following the Astros-Indians game starting at 3:10, a live testimony of faith will take place with guest speakers George Springer and Will Harris. And artist Tyron Wells leads the inspirating post-game concert. For tickets and information, visit astros.com/faith.
Well, the meeting with Lance and Stassi is over, and he misses inside with a fastball. Now it's 2-0 to Kinsler. Kinsler grounded into a double play his first time up. Lance goes 2-0 curveball and misses outside. It's 3-0. We haven't seen Lance fall behind too many hitters, and that's a fastball for a strike. And there's that tailing action you mentioned on the two-seamer. 3-1 the count. It's a pop-up. Deep shortstop. Carlos Correa under it. And Lance McCullers has himself a 1-2-3 fifth. We are through 5 in Anaheim, all tied at 1.
By Toyota. Who remembers the last time the Astros faced Andrew Heaney? Well, if you don't, we're flashing back right now. September 13, 2015 is one of my favorite Astros games ever. They were down by 5 in the ninth, down to their last strike. And here they come, rallying back against Houston Street, who had pitched very well for the Angels down the stretch that year. The Astros trying to stay right in the mix for a postseason berth. They were trying to get to the playoffs for the first time in 10 years. Jed Lowry kind of capped that whole ninth inning off with the 3-run pinch. It was a pinch hit home run as well. A very exciting, they did the impossible right here at Angel Stadium. I remember AJ saying after the game, I love September baseball. And that's what it was right then, as the Angels, or as the Astros were trying to fight their way, had a lot of young guys in that, on that team, on that roster. They were trying to find their way into the playoffs, and they did, guys.
Yeah, Julie, you're right. I mean, Heaney pitched very well. You can see the numbers there. 5 shutout innings, allowed 6 hits. And the Astros able to hang a no decision on him with that comeback win. And what turned out to be pretty as pivotal a game as you could have, considering the Angels just missed out on the playoffs by a game.
But that was just one of those special times for the Astros. They did everything right. There was some funky plays in that last inning. And Houston Street, who had thrown the ball pretty well up until that point, walked a couple guys. It was just a weird inning. And then even Cole Calhoun, who's a great outfielder, jumps into the wall instead of jumping up. He jumps into the wall and doesn't get any height, because that was possibly a catchable ball.
1-2 the count to George Springer, leading things off, and he takes a called strike on the breaking ball. He didn't think so, but George goes down looking for the second time tonight, as Heaney has 9 strikeouts.
Here's our MD Anderson strike zone, and I don't think it was George didn't think that was a strike. I don't think he was really looking for a breaking ball right there. It's been fastball in, changeup away. Heaney mixing it up, throws that breaking ball, catches the inside part of the plate.
Here's Alex Bregman. Bregman's line to right and also fly to center. Alex takes strike 1. Heaney's thrown 70 pitches, and we are 1 out into the 6th inning. He's been doing a good job holding this Astros lineup down, and it's nothing new for him. His 3rd start against Houston. Julia mentioned the game in September of 2015. Overall, He's only allowed 2 runs in 16 1/3 innings in his 3 starts against the Astros. And now ahead of the count, 1-2.
He has not spent very much time whatsoever in the middle part of the plate. It's been on the corner. It's been up a little bit, down a little bit, really keeping these Astros hitters off balance.
All 3 hits he's allowed have been to the bottom half of the lineup. Evan Gattis batting 6th with a double. Josh Reddick batting 7th with a double. And Max Stassi, the 8-hitter, with a single. This one's off Heaney, but right to Simmons. Good break for the Angels as that ball was headed up the middle and instead turns into an out. Cheer on the Astros during every Friday night home game in the Stro Zone, presented by Texas Mahindra Dealers. Fans with a Stro Zone ticket this Friday receive an exclusive Astros Royale t-shirt. Visit astros.com/Strozone now to purchase your tickets. Tough break for Bregman. Looked like he might have had a base hit had it not hit the pitcher.
Hit that pretty well. It went off Heaney's leg straight to Andrelton Simmons at short. And I've always said, bruises heal, outs are forever. As long as you don't get hurt, any part of the body is open game.
Well, Heaney will take the trade-off. Bregman's hit the ball hard twice tonight, but he's 0 for 3. Here's Jose Altuve. Altuve has flied to right and struck out. Top 3 in the order for the Astros are 0 for 8 tonight, with 3 of the 9 strikeouts. Altuve grounds one to third. Cozart takes his time, and Heaney is through 6 in a 1-1 game, a 1-2-3 inning.
Downloading the new AT&T Sportsnet app from iTunes or Google Play, or visit attsportsnet.com to stream on your computer. Log in with your cable account and you're all set. Available for those with AT&T Sportsnet in their TV subscription. Blackouts and territorial restrictions apply. Did you guys hear Calhoun's walk-up song?
Nope.
What was it?
It's a new speaker right next to me now.
So you didn't just hear it, you felt it?
I mean, yeah, that's why I was asking. You guys could hear it up there.
We were locked in on what you were saying.
I feel it in my heart. The bass down here.
We got to come up with that one night. We got to find out what our walk-up songs would be. You already have your go-to, Julie, or need to think
ours?
about it? Yeah.
Where am I walking?
Well, it's all
up.
Down the press elevator, onto the field. Probably something Houston related by Beyonce.
There you go.
Some good ones.
0-2 the count to Cole Calhoun. as he leads off the bottom half of the 6th inning. Both teams with a run, both teams with 3 hits. Both starters have been very good, and Lance doing it a little differently tonight with mostly fastball changeup.
Yeah, the breaking ball just hasn't been there for him, but I think he's really doing a nice job of keeping his composure, not having his best pitch. All right, towards the end of my career, post 9/11, 2001, my walk-up song, well, it wasn't a walk-up song. It's the song that was played when I came in from the bullpen was courtesy of the Red, White, and Blue.
Okay, nice. Did you have something different prior to that and then just flipped it after?
I did. Prior to that, it was a one-hit wonder from the 80s called Aldo Nova.
Yeah.
Fantasy by Aldo Nova.
That our stage manager John Reynolds.
You know how many people around I would. Well, who is that? Who is that?
Oh, that struck a chord with.
Oh yeah.
JR.
Midland, Texas, driving around with a friend of mine in his green 1970 Cutlass convertible with that song blaring.
Life's
Those
good.
were the days.
Life is good.
Midland, Texas.
There you go. 1-2 the count to Cole Calhoun. Calhoun bounced back to McCullers his first time up. And this time takes a pitch outside on the changeup. It's 2-2. We mentioned leading into this game in the very first inning that Lance has been throwing that changeup a lot more the last couple of starts, and that is the case again tonight. As he goes back to the curveball there, and it's fouled back.
That's a little bit better. He put it in a better spot. I don't think it still has the shape that he's looking for. He's looking for a little bit more depth on the ball, but he put that one in a nice spot underneath Cole Calhoun's hands.
20 changeups to 17 curveballs tonight, and 37 two-seam fastballs. There's a swing and a miss as he gets Cole Calhoun on the changeup for strikeout number 5 for Lance McCullers.
Our league leaders are presented by Houston Methodist. We've talked quite a bit about starting pitching for the Astros, and the numbers are just extraordinary. They're blowing the rest of the league away. The Nationals, the next closest, all those categories, they're all the Washington Nationals. You got to remember who's Washington Nationals. Max Scherzer, Steven Strasburg. I mean, they got some big-time pitchers, but they can't hold a candle to what the Astros starting rotation is doing right now.
No, and it's even more glaring when you compare them just to the American League teams. And those are 2 big reasons why. Number 1 and number 2 in ERA, with Charlie Morton now passing Sean Manaea into the 3rd spot in the American League. You've got all these numbers going against the Nationals, and most hitters as pitchers aren't like Shohei Ohtani. So there's a built-in advantage usually for National League pitching versus American League pitching.
Yeah, usually over the years, the difference between the National League and the American League ERA was about a half a run. Now, some years a little more, some years a little less, but that was the DH factor.
How about this quintet? Have you seen a group of 5 like this?
No, and I've played on some pretty good stats.
Sure,
Go back to Atlanta.
Yeah.
The big run in the late 90s with the Yankees winning 3 World Series and 4 out of 5. But not anything like this. This is historic what's going on.
And I think the strength is that there's really, from 1 to 5, there's just zero. There's no drop off. There's very little drop off.
They all do it differently.
Yeah.
You know, even though you got one left-hander in there, even the right-handers just, they go about their business differently, and it doesn't matter where they are in the rotation. They're out there executing pitches. Now, it's not all just about stuff. They're also doing an outstanding job of putting the ball where they want to with that plus stuff.
Speaking of stuff, Lance down in the count here to Martin Maldonado, 3-0, and he's gotten back in the count. It's now 3-2. Maldonado calls time. Lance, by the way, has 4 strikeouts. I think I mentioned earlier he has 5. He had 2 in the first inning, 1 last inning, and started out this inning by striking out Cole Calhoun. Lance sitting right now at 80 pitches, 55 for strikes. He's got a good ratio of strikes to balls going, 55 to 25. And he loses Maldonado and frustrated with himself as he kicks at the mound. That is the first walk issued by Lance McCullers. Maldonado draws a 1-out walk. Back to the top of the order, Zach Cozart.
Big night last night for Zach. 3 hits, had the walk-off single at the end against the Twins. Has done that a couple times this year. Batting average is a little low, but feeling good coming into tonight's game after a nice game for him last night.
Yeah, Socha moving him up to the top spot in the lineup. We saw Ian Kinsler there earlier this season. And Cozart was usually the number 6 hitter. Occasionally he'd be 5 or 7, but now he's moved him up and kind of switched spots with Kinsler, who's down in the 7th spot tonight.
Yeah, Kinsler's been getting on base. He's walked like 8 times in the last 12 games, but he hasn't been hitting the ball, so try something new tonight.
Saw Socha there a minute ago. He has moved up the charts. He's got a chance to pass the guy that he played under, Tommy Lasorda, for most games managed for one franchise. Lasorda was over 3,000, and Socha is approaching that number, 5th all time. The number 3 guy you know pretty well, Bobby Cox.
Oh yeah, Bobby spent a long time on that bench in Atlanta. What a lot of people don't know about Bobby was he was actually the one that put that organization together, then went from the front office general manager's chair into the dugout to manage the team on the field.
Change up for a swing and a miss. That is the 9th swinging strike on the changeup tonight, which we can say has been his best pitch of the evening.
Oh, I think that's not a stretch whatsoever. Now the breaking ball has gotten better as of the last couple innings. He's thrown it a few more times. He's gotten a swing and miss on it, but the changeup has just been devastating. And you know, I've always said big league hitters, they don't like to face pitchers they don't have a track record against. Well, they don't have a track record against his changeup.
No, they don't. They're used to a different number 43 out there who's fastball, curveball. Instead, it's fastball, changeup tonight with the curveball sprinkled in.
Here's our Mattress Firm Super Mo, and you can see the side spin on it, and you can see that ball just falling off the table. They see fastball out of the hands, and then the pitch just simply doesn't get there. You add the movement on top of it in location. That's a devastating pitch.
Oh, 1 count to Mike Trout. Trout has struck out looking and also fly to right.
Lance got away, the fly to right, Lance got away with one. Threw a breaking ball down and out over the plate, and Mike just barely missed it. That's actually his happy zone. You throw the ball bottom of the knee, outer third, that's like throwing the ball right down the middle to anyone else. That's where his strength is, and driving the ball to right center field. Got under it just a touch and popped it up to right.
Trout off to a great start this year, leading the major leagues in on-base percentage. Also tied for 3rd with a dozen home runs and 33 runs scored. Month of May, we've mentioned all these great numbers for the Angels. He's at 375 this month coming into tonight. Lance has been staying away in this at-bat. And again, all 3 of those pitches outside of the zone are right on top of each other.
We're talking about the offense for the Angels, and you can see they have had the most 3-hit games for one of their players. Trout is one of those. He's done it 3 times.
That's just since May 1st.
Yeah, that's
how hot they've been.
That's a lot of base hits in a short period of time.
Well, Lance walks Trout. So 2 walks in the inning. Both walks in the game for Lance have come in the 6th inning. And there's 2 runners on with 2 outs, and now we'll have to face Justin Upton. Trout with his 35th walk of the season.
Max Stassi out there just want to make sure that Lance stays aggressive here and they execute the game plan that they have against Upton. It really looked like he didn't want any part of Mike Trout right there, throwing all those fastballs up and away. The benefit he has right here is he's already got 2 outs, so all he's got to do is get a sac fly. That would be the 3rd out.
That works. Starts him off with a strike. Upton 1 for 2, single to left his last time up. He has started at bats off with a changeup, and he has finished at bats with a changeup. Bounces. Stassi kept it close. Doesn't allow Maldonado to advance. And the count's 1-1. Astros getting their first bullpen action going of the night.
Looks like Brad Peacock.
Lance sitting at 93 pitches right now.
There we see Brad he's only thrown about 4 or 5, so Lance is still in here for a little bit.
Misses the edge. It's 2-1. Lance at one point, we mentioned, had a good strike to ball ratio of 55 out of the first 80, but now all of a sudden he's 5 strikes in his last 14 pitches. And there's a ball sent in the left field, line drive, base hit. Rounding third is Maldonado. Fisher's throw will be cut off by Bregman as Maldonado scores, and the Angels have broken the tie and take a 2-1 lead.
So Lance goes back to the changeup, throws this one in the zone. Upton puts a nice swing on the ball. Fisher not able to charge the ball, had to catch it on a little bit of the in-between hop. Didn't make the strongest of throws, and Maldonado scores from second.
Was able to get off the bag at second base with 2 outs and not worry about that ball being caught or not, and allows the Angels to score their second run. So the walks come back to bite Lance. And there's a called strike. Albert Pujols has grounded out and grounded into a double play. And he fouls the curve. It's 0-2.
Lance is a little frustrated out there. As you can imagine, he's thrown a pretty good game right here, but a couple of walks, one of them with 2 outs, and the 2-out single for the Angels to take the lead.
And he strikes out Pujols on the curveball, and that'll do it in the 6th inning. But a couple of walks and an RBI single, and the Angels lead at 2-1.
for following us on Twitter at ATT Sportsnet SW. We asked tonight which Astros player will have the best series against the Angels in Anaheim. And Jose Altuve was the winner of this one with 37%. Carlos Correa coming in second, 29.
Someone else didn't get much.
You need to give him your horseshoe or something.
Well, here's the crazy part. So the fans vote for Altuve.
Right.
And he's in one of the worst slumps of his career.
Well, that's just it. You expect him to come out of it.
Right. Carlos Correa leading off. I mean, the worst slump of his career doesn't match up with other people's worst slumps of their career. He's at a 4-game slump right now, but nonetheless, 0 for 16. We hardly have ever seen that before. In fact, 0 for 17 without reaching base is the longest stretch in Altuve's career back in 2013. Correa takes one inside as Andrew Heaney working with the lead again. It's 2-1 as we head to the 7th.
Man, he has done a good job against these Astros hitters on the inside part of the plate.
We saw in that last series against the Rangers how Correa's hot zone has been middle and away as opposed to inside this season.
Correa's a big dude. I mean, yeah, he's not just tall, but he's a big guy. He wants to get those arms extended. And we saw the Rangers really pound all the Astros hitters in.
There's a ball on the right side for a base hit. That was a pitch that was away, and Carlos just took it into right for a leadoff base hit in the 7th inning.
Yeah, he just kind of tried to get the barrel of the bat on the ball, not try and do too much. You see it's a fastball right on the outside corner. You know, sometimes as a pitcher, you have to just tip your hat. I never did that, by the way. Never tipped my hat once. Guy get a hit like that off me, I was ticked off.
Because you make your pitch.
But Andrew Heaney, he's got to tip his hat because Carlos Correa just beat him right there.
But he probably put the pitch pretty close to where he wanted.
It was. You saw the glove from Maldonado. It was a pitcher's pitch.
Here's Yuli Gurriel. Yuli chops one towards third. Kozar to second for one, and yet another double play in this game. Astros turn 2 of their own, and now the Angels turn their second as Correa is wiped out on the double play ground ball by Yuli Gurriel.
You know, A.J. Hinch likes these guys to be aggressive, and we see them swing at a lot of first pitches. Sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. That time Yuli offering at the first pitch grounds into the easy around the horn 5-4-3 double play.
So here's Evan Gattis with the bases cleared and 2 outs. Evan hit one deep into left center field his last time up. It went up against the wall for a double. He has also struck out 1 for 2. We mentioned the Angel starters have not given Mike Scioscia very many innings this year, but tonight 80 pitches in, Andrew Heaney's at 6 2/3. That's his longest outing of the season as he misses to Gattis for a ball. It's 1-0. His last 2 outings have been 6 inning outings, and that had been his high point of the season until tonight. There's not been one pitch thrown in the Angels bullpen, and really no need to. The way Heaney's gone is 2-0.
His highest pitch count on the season was against the Yankees back right at the end of April at 94. But he hasn't really had any stressful pitches. He's been on top of his game today, so he might be out there for, if he keeps being successful, he might be out there for a while.
Gattis on a 2-0 swing, fouls one back. Brad Peacock has stayed warm, so you would think that McCullers' evening is probably over after 6 innings. And if that's the case, Lance pitched very well. 6 innings of 4-hit, 2-run baseball. The walk hurt him a little bit last inning.
Yeah, 2 walks in that inning. Only 2 walks of the night.
Gattis shatters his bat, grounds one towards Simmons, who throws on the move in time to get Evan for the final out of the inning. The double play hurt, and the Astros fail to score in the top half of the 7th. Angels lead this game 2-1. Now we're going to send it to Kevin Eschenfelder and Preston Wilson in our Rooms to Go studio as we head to the bottom of the 7th.
Ford dealers. We talked a lot about the starting pitching. The bullpen has been outstanding also. Now, they haven't got as much work as, well, any other bullpen in Major League Baseball. But when they've been out there, they've done a pretty good job. 3.10 ERA to go with the starters' ERA of the low twos. That's why this is the best pitching staff in Major League Baseball right now.
And that's really the big difference between these two teams is the Astros have been able to use their bullpen exactly the way A.J. Hinch wants to. And the Angels have kind of had to be forced to use guys a little more often than they'd like, perhaps.
Well, the pen got off to a little bit of a slow start early in the season because there really weren't any roles. The starting pitchers were going so deep. You had guys like Joe Smith out there just getting innings in and facing left-handed hitters. Well, now A.J. has been able to set this bullpen up the way he wants to, having guys facing the hitters they should be facing.
And Brad Peacock in this case will face Andrelton Simmons, Luis Valbuena, and Ian Kinsler as they bat here in the bottom half of the 7th inning. Lance McCullers goes 6 innings and allows 4 hits, a couple of walks, 2 runs. He struck out 5. And right now he's on the wrong end of a 2-1 game. No offensive support for Lance tonight. And he's pitched well again here in Angel Stadium and still doesn't have a win here in 4 starts despite a sub-2 ERA. Strike call to Simmons. It's 1-2.
And Brad Peacock, 2-seam fastball, slider. Those in the low to mid 90s. Got a nice slider. It's his out pitch.
Seems like the slider's been a little sharper here more recently. At the beginning of the season, it was a little hit or miss.
Yeah, his last 3 or 4 outings, it's gotten the depth. You know, he's kind of having the same issue that Lance was having, that he was getting too much horizontal break and not enough depth on the pitch. But he's gotten back on top of it. He's got that pitch going down a little bit.
Missed the edge there on Simmons, and it's 3-2. Andrelton singled and scored the first run of this game for the Angels back in the 2nd inning. Also has fly to center. Pop up on the infield. Bregman is underneath it. And Alex puts it away for out number 1. Well, Peacock, for example, we're talking about bullpen usage. He's been used 16 times. The most games pitched for the Astros this year, Chris Davinsky and Will Harris have pitched 17 times, and that's out of 42 games. The Angels have 4 different pitchers that have gone at least 20 times out of the bullpen.
Wow.
2 guys 20 and 2 guys 21 times, and they're in game 40 completed of the season.
Yeah, and they just had a reliever go down
Yeah.
with Tommy. Well, could be Tommy John.
Keenan Middleton, bad news today, a UCL injury.
And we talked about appearances, and here's the innings. I mean, that is a huge number of innings.
And the only team with fewer innings than the Astros bullpen is the Indians, and they played 3 less games.
Right.
And have 3 less innings out of their bullpen.
But you're talking, what was it, 50, 55 innings? And we're in mid-May.
There you go, top to bottom. You've got the Angels at 4, so they're averaging 12 outs a game.
I've always said this, Todd. In order for to cover 12 outs, you need probably 6 pitchers on a nightly basis. 6 guys that you can go to, that you trust, that can get you to the 9th inning. And the Astros only having to go, what was it, 8 outs. That, it doesn't sound like a big number. That is a huge number.
Yeah, it's even less than that. I think it's like 2.2, so maybe 2 1/3 innings or 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, so 7 outs a game.
That's I mean, that's one of the reasons why the bullpen has been successful. You want a good bullpen? It starts with a good rotation that can go deep in the game, so you don't have to cover as many.
Now tonight it's been flipped a little bit. Heaney's done a good job giving them length, and we still don't see the bullpen.
It's because we've talked about how bad the rotation is.
And we don't see the Angels bullpen moving at all yet. So this is one of the aberration games where they don't really have to use their bullpen for 12 outs. Obviously they're already through 7. And depending on if we go extras or not, they probably won't use the bullpen extensively tonight. But it's been quite the opposite most of the season. 2-2 pitch as Valbuena checks his swing on the breaking ball. It's 3-2. Peacock on for Lance McCullers in this 2-1 game. Both teams with 4 hits. Another low-scoring game. Angels are kind of used to that here at home. They have not been hitting well at Angel Stadium as Valbuena goes down swinging on the slider. That's strikeout number 1 for Brad in the second out of the 7th.
That's a good breaking ball.
Friday Night Fireworks presented by Occidental Petroleum back at Minute Maid Park. This Friday the 18th, enjoy fireworks synced to Star Wars theme music after the Astros take on the Indians. Visit astros.com/Friday nights for tickets. That's right, we're back at Minute Maid Park Friday night. This is a quick road trip, 3 days in Anaheim and right back home. Arriving early Thursday morning after the night game Wednesday.
Big and bright Friday nights.
Yeah, it's been good crowds all season long, but especially on the weekends. Top 3 teams for attendance in the American League. Yankees are first, Angels are second, and the Astros have moved up to third this year.
Yeah, the Yankees, people have really started jumping on that bandwagon. Yeah, that's a good, it's a fun team to watch.
Sure.
With all the power, they've got some good pitching. Luis Severino has turned into an absolute monster on the mound. You know, it's a fun team to watch.
Drawing some big crowds over there at Yankee Stadium as Kinsler has a 1-1 count. And now it's 2-1. Yankees are averaging 40,000 at home. The Angels are averaging almost 39,000, and the Astros are averaging almost 36,000. And you go down the list, and the next closest team would be the Red Sox. So it's 3-1 to Kinsler. 2 outs, bases empty.
And you have to remember that the Yankees are doing that, and they've had terrible weather in the north and northeast.
On the ground foul. Bregman makes the play just because he could. It's 3-2. Astros coming in leading the Angels by a game in the AL West, leading Seattle by 2.5 games. And a foul at the plate. Mariners got some real bad news in the last 24 hours.
Oh, did they really? Robinson Cano got hit in the hand. Hand's broken. Going to be out. Do they have a time frame yet? I haven't heard really a time frame.
I guess.
And that is a huge. I mean, you're talking about their best player, their best hitter. They're stalwart in the middle of their lineup.
3-2 slider. Slider looked good tonight for Brad Peacock. Gets a couple of strikeouts with it. Went to 3-2 on all 3 batters and still ends up with a 1-2-3 inning.
Mobile. Astros with just 4 hits off Haney tonight, half of them coming In the third, Josh Reddick leading off with a double, and Max Stassi driving him in, continuing to swing it well. That's the only run that these Astros have. Other than that, Haney's been pretty good against the Astros, and guess who's leading things off here in the 8th, TK?
There you go. Good karma. Good spot in the lineup to start things in this one-run game. Astros have 6 outs to work with, and the Angels finally have their bullpen working as Heaney delivers a strike to Josh Reddick. It's 1-1. Justin Anderson, kid out of Houston, Texas. Saw him make his big league debut at Minute Maid Park as Reddick fouls one down the line.
Yeah, that young man's got a big fastball. And Mike Scioscia didn't pull any punches, didn't ease him into any situation in the big leagues, threw him right in at home against the Astros in a tight ball game.
Well, I mean, we've spoken of the bullpen usage the last inning or two. Scioscia basically had Justin Anderson and maybe one other guy that night. He decided to go to Anderson in a big spot in his big league debut.
And he did well. We saw the fastball, saw a nice slider. High 90s, free and easy.
And the other 38, the Astros 38, Joe Smith warming up in the Houston bullpen. 1-2 pitch, swing and a miss. Reddick goes down swinging. Heaney has matched his career high with 10 strikeouts as he gets the first out of the 8th.
Watch every out-of-market Astros game all season long live on your favorite supported devices with MLB.tv. Blackouts and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv for more details.
Heaney struck out 10 Oakland A's last year on August the 28th. That was his single season or single game high of his career. Earlier this year, he struck out 9 Yankees. But now he matches his career high with a 10 strikeout game, and he's 0-1 on Max Stassi.
You know, Astros don't see very many pitchers like Heaney. You know, a lot of times nowadays, starting pitchers in the big leagues, they all throw hard. But Heaney's 91, 92, got a little movement on his sinker. Good changeup, pretty good breaking ball, but really changing speeds and mixing it up on these Astros hitters.
Marwin Gonzalez on deck to pinch hit for Derek Fisher as Stassi with a 2-2 count. Yeah, the changeup's been so good tonight. He has kept hitters off balance. That went down and in. It's 3-2. With his 10 strikeouts, Heaney's only walked 1 batter. That was Carlos Correa back in the 4th. Stassi in the right field, sending Calhoun back. He'll be on the edge of the warning track as he makes this play for out number 2. Stassi hit it well, but he's an out to deep right. Right field now, you don't have to hit it over the scoreboard anymore. You just have to hit it over the wall.
Yeah, the sign, the scoreboard you see in the picture, they don't. That is now a home run. Just the top of the wall is considered a home run, whereas before you had to hit it in the seats.
Yep, big difference out there.
And that made right field play very big in this ball.
Meeting at the mound with 2 outs and the bases empty, and Marwin Gonzalez announced as a pinch hitter. Time to play Name That Astro, brought to you by Nissan. Here are the clues today. Who Am I? 6th-round pick by the Angels. Gold Glover and Windmill. If you have a guess, you can send it to @ATT Sportsnet SW.
How are you at this game?
Terrible. I get about 1 every 6. Plummer gets about every one of them. There's a called strike. It's 0-1. You have to think
so are
outside
you
the box.
implying that maybe Jeff cheats a little bit?
No, he's good.
You sure you're not implying that Jeff cheats a little bit?
He gets them. It's amazing. I mean, you got to think along with the clue giver, I guess. But yeah, fans are really good at it too.
Sure. Yeah.
They're pretty shrewd. 1-1 the count to Marwin.
Well, they're sitting at home on their their lounge chair. There's no pressure.
A little late night for them the next 3 nights. Wednesday's game starts a half an hour earlier than tonight and tomorrow, but still some late night with the Astros as this one's outside. Marwin pinch hitting for Derek Fisher. Heaney is sitting at 98 pitches. He has not thrown 100 pitches in any start this year, so this very well could be his final batter. And now it's 3-1.
All right, I just wrote down my answer.
Okay, I see it. I have it. I will vouch for you. See if you're right when we name that Astro a little later on.
By the way, doing the pre and post game, I play along. I'm about the same as you. I'm terrible at this game.
Marwin calls time. Marwin with 3 home runs on the year, all as a left-handed hitter. 3-1 pitch, high fly ball in the center field. Playable. Heaney will get through the 8th inning. Still with a 2-1 lead. We head to the bottom half of the 8th. Angels lead by 1.
Happy Hour presented by Budweiser. The Budweiser Brewhouse will have music, game, food, and beer specials for fans attending the game. For tickets, visit astros.com/Friday nights. TK?
All right, Julian, to the bottom of the 8th we go. Still a 2-1 game in favor of the Angels. Brad Peacock did his job with a 1-2-3 7th with a couple of strikeouts, and now they turn it over to Joe Smith.
Joe Smith, the 34-year-old right-hander, has actually been scoreless in his last 3 appearances, has been used the way A.J. Hinch wants him to, facing mostly just right-handed hitters, and has done a nice job as of late. You gotta forget the numbers, don't look at the ERA. He had one big blow-up game, but he's done a nice job in his career and for the Astros this year against those right-handers lately.
713th career appearance. That is second among active pitchers. Only Fernando Rodney, who has 843, has more. Where did you end up with?
Oh, just short of 1,200.
Wow.
I think 1174, I think is the number.
That is awesome.
Second behind Jesse Orosco.
Most ever for, yeah, second most ever appearances, and you lead in holds, right?
I am. I do believe that is the case.
Cole Calhoun is the batter that will face Joe Smith. So almost 1,200 appearances. Congratulations. That's
yeah,
awesome.
Jesse had about 75 more.
Ground ball to Correa for the first out.
Now, I will say he did it over about 4 or 5 years longer than I did.
Right. Well, that's like when we were talking about Adrian Beltre the other day and comparing him to some other guys. He started at age 19.
Right.
And now here he is at age 39. So that is a long career.
That's a lot of baseball. That's a lot of traveling.
Well, Smith gets a quick out on Cole Calhoun, and now he'll face Martin Maldonado. So the question is for the Angels, no Keenan Middleton. We know he's got the UCL injury. Heaney's gone 8 innings. He's at his pitch limit. I doubt we'll see him in the 9th. So who's the closer now?
Well, speaking to the people that cover this team on a daily basis, they don't know. It's really a bullpen by committee right now.
Okay.
And I think
so right now, Social will look at the matchups. He's got Springer, Bregman, Altuve. He'll look at who he thinks matches up the best with him.
even in the 9th inning, we could possibly see 3 pitchers to get 3 outs.
Come on.
Now that is the epitome
Even
of a
if it's
pitcher
all
by
right.
epitome.
If it's all right.
Well, no.
Yeah,
yes.
in that case, you'll probably see one guy.
Right. Unless he gets in trouble.
Right.
And Scioscia's not going to have any problem with going out and pulling whoever that may be.
1-1 the count to Maldonado. And a foul at the plate. It's 1-2.
Looks like it is going to be the Houston native Anderson going to be out there.
How about that? Justin Anderson wasn't even on the 40-man roster to start the season. And now he might have a chance to pick up a save against the team he used to cheer for, the Houston Astros. Never has had a major league save before.
Well, Scioscia has had no problem putting him in high leverage situations. We talked about a little while ago about how he came in Houston.
1-2 pitch and a swing and a miss. Joe Smith strikes out Martin Maldonado for out number 2. It is time now to name that Astro, brought to you by Nissan. Our clues tonight were 6th round pick by the Angels, a Gold Glover, and Windmill.
All right, how'd I do?
You were close.
No, missed it.
Gary Pettis, the Windmill at 3rd. And what a great defensive player he was. 6th round pick by the Angels back in 1979, back when they were the California Angels.
I had the pleasure of playing on a team that Gary was coaching when I was with the Texas Rangers in '96. Just quality human being. And A.J. Hinch has told him, use your instincts. If you think there's a chance, even if it's going to be a play at the plate, send these Astros hitters. And we've seen just that.
Yeah, we've talked about his aggressive nature, and you'd always like to see a guy who errs on the side of being too aggressive than too cautious. Game 2 of the ALCS, sending Altuve on that Correa double.
Yeah.
Not a lot of guys would have sent Altuve there. They put the pressure on the D and scored the winning run.
Yeah, most of the time it works out. Now there has been an occasion here and there that guys get thrown out at the plate, but you're forcing the defense to make a play.
He scored Brian McCann twice this year from first base.
How about that? Speed kills.
Well, there is the young right-hander. Justin Anderson just made his major league debut earlier this year against the Astros, and now maybe on to try and pick up his first major league save. But first things first, Joe Smith trying to get through the bottom half of the 8th inning. Has a 1-2 count on Zach Kozar. Astros will have the top of their order due up. George Springer, Alex Bregman, Jose Altuve. 1-2 pitch misses inside. It's 2-2. Kozar batting for the 4th time. Only 8 hits total in this game, 4 for each side. Swing and a miss. Joe Smith comes in and has a 1-2-3 inning, just like Brad Peacock, picking up a couple of strikeouts along the way. We head to the 9th. Springer, Bregman, Altuve, due up. Minnesota. Let's go places. And by Arctic, overbuilt, not overpriced. We have ourselves a one-run game heading to the 9th inning. Astros have the top of the order due up. Springer, Bregman, Altuve, if any, reach Correa, and they will face the rookie right-hander out of Houston, Texas, Justin Anderson.
Justin Anderson, the hard-throwing right-hander, high 90s, has a nice slider. Hasn't been in the big leagues very long, but you can see 15 has strikeout stuff, 15 strikeouts in just 9 1/3 innings, and Mike Scioscia has thrown this guy into the fire so far in his young career, and he's going to stay there facing this Astros lineup here in the 9th.
Out of St. Pius X High School in Houston, he made his major league debut at Minute Maid Park on April 23rd in his hometown. Had a strikeout of Carlos Correa with 2 on and 2 outs in the 8th inning. He would pitch twice in that series. George Springer saw him twice, and he's 1 for 2 against him. Springer, who is 0 for 3 tonight, backs off on the slider that's inside for ball 1. Anderson will throw that slider to right-hand hitters more than 60% of the time.
Yeah, it's a good one, and he's not afraid to throw it. He's probably going to throw it quite a bit against these Astros hitters because they can turn around a fastball.
Facing all righties, and there is that slider. It's 1-1. Slider generally comes in around 86 miles an hour, and Mike was telling you that fastball high octane 97, 98. Astros need at least 1 to keep this game going. George up the middle, base hit. Astros have a leadoff runner on in the 9th. Springer with his first hit of the evening. Are you the ultimate Southwest fan? Use hashtag UltimateSWFan WTX on Twitter to show us, and you can win a VIP experience. West Texas May is your chance to show your spirit, so tweet now and win big. Here's Alex Bregman. Astros trying to spoil a great performance by Andrew Heaney, who was out after 8 innings of 4-hit, 1-run baseball, tying his career high with 10 strikeouts. Bregman also looking for his first hit, and he lays off that first pitch for ball 1, slider away.
Well, young Justin Anderson's thrown 1 fastball, and that's the ground, that's the base hit up the middle. He's thrown nothing but sliders. And these Astros like the straight, the fastball. They like the pitch that doesn't have any movement, that doesn't have any speed differential, just like most hitters.
Bregman has not faced him before. And another slider, and this one catches the corner. It's 1-1. Anderson, in his last outing, charged with his first career loss Friday. Allowed 3 earned runs in an inning and a third. Now it's 1-2. Really slowed up that breaking ball.
That might have been a curveball.
He has not thrown that this year.
73 miles an hour.
He has not thrown that pitch this season.
That's exactly what it was, a curveball. Now he slowed everything down to throw it, but you know that they don't have that one in the scouting report. That's kind of is that considered cheating?
Well, I mean, you can see.
I guess you can't say that because Lance McCullers was throwing a changeup all night.
His delivery did change on that pitch. This ball is sent down the line in right field, sending Calhoun towards the corner, and he reaches up and makes the play. Springer tagging, heading to second. Calhoun's throw. George is out. Cole Calhoun leads the major leagues in outfield assists, and he just picked up number 6 on the year, and that's a huge out for the Angels.
George thought he was going to be able to catch Calhoun sleeping a little bit in the corner, but Calhoun, an outstanding outfielder, knows what George is going to do. Catches this ball, comes up throwing, throws a strike to Andrelton Simmons. You see Springer try to go around the tag, and
Two outs, base is empty. Jose Altuve, the batter. George trying to get into scoring position, ends up being thrown out for the second out of the inning. It took a great throw and a great play by Calhoun for that double play. Altuve takes one down low and in. Jose's longest stretch without reaching base is 17 plate appearances. That happened in the 2013 season from May 18th through the 22nd. He's at 16 right now. There's a strike. Twice in his career, he's gone 4 straight games without a hit. That 2013 stretch, and then again in 2016. This is his 4th game, and Jose still looking for that first hit since the last road trip. And there it is. Jose Altuve gets the base hit to keep the hopes of the Astros alive. He's the tying run on base, and Carlos Correa will stride to the plate as the go-ahead run.
The pitch before was a 99-mile-an-hour fastball. That's actually a pretty good location on a breaking ball, but I think Jose was kind of looking for it. You see a little bit off balance, but still was able to get the barrel of the bat to the ball and drive this pitch up the middle to keep the Astros' hopes alive.
Anderson faced Correa in a big spot in his major league debut, 2 on, 2 outs, and he was able to strike him out. Now Carlos has a chance to return the favor. 2 hits in the inning for the Astros, 6 in the game. You could look at that Springer running play and say, well, why did he go? Could be first and third right now, but it took a great play by Calhoun. I don't think A.J. Hinch will have any problems with him being aggressive trying to get into scoring position.
Well, A.J. wants these guys being aggressive, and occasionally they're going to be over-aggressive, and that's what that was. But, you know, he made Calhoun and Andrelton Simmons make a play, and they made it.
And if he's safe, now the game's tied.
That's right.
1-0 the count to Correa. Swing and a miss, and Maldonado missed the baseball, which means Altuve gets into scoring position. So Correa swung and missed, and Altuve gets to second base.
That was weird. Yeah,
That's
that's not a foul ball. That's not a. That was not a foul ball.
That's Maldonado whiffing it. That is a pass ball.
Wow, and that puts. I mean, you're talking about a Gold Glove caliber catcher. You're talking about a good catcher behind the plate, and Martin Maldonado, and he just missed it.
And these Angels outfielders, they're playing deep with Correa. So a base hit to the outfield with Altuve's speed should tie the game.
Yeah, with Altuve's speed, they could probably all move in 10 feet and still not going to get him unless it was absolutely crushed straight at them.
You can see Cole Calhoun put his hands up. He's still trying to get the attention of the dugout to try and find out where he's supposed to play. And Mike Trout's also asking. He doesn't know where he's supposed to play.
Yeah, they're asking if they want to be moved up.
They are moving in. So you've got the option. You could either go no doubles and stay deep, but you're giving up the RBI single, or they move in a little bit, and now Correa could try and hit one over their heads.
Usually at home, you play to win. So what that means is you're going to actually bring in the outfield to try and cut the play at the get the runner at the plate. You're on the road, you play for the tie, you leave them back.
Anderson bounces it in there. It's 2-1. Justin Anderson, 25-year-old, making his 10th major league appearance and looking for his first ever big league save. But facing Carlos Correa, who has homered in his last 2 games. Leads the team with 29 runs batted in. Altuve, great speed at second. 3-1. Looks not giving Carlos much to hit here after that mound visit.
Oh, he just got intentionally walked.
Well, there you go. They're going to pitch to Yuli Gurriel in this situation instead. Correa reaching for the 3rd time tonight. An intentional walk, a regular walk, and a single his last time up. And Yuli, who has hit in 13 to 14 games, but he's 0 for 3, will bat with the tying and go-ahead runs on base.
In the past, this is the situation that Yuli has been able to thrive. Really knows how to drive in runs in tight situations.
Yuli did not face Anderson. And he takes a strike. Loves throwing that slider. Trying to hold up on a pitch down and away, and he goes around. It's 0-2.
Really had words with Brian Honora. He didn't think he swung. He thought he should have checked first base.
Well, Yuli's seen 2 sliders. Didn't look very good on that last slider. Ground ball to third. Cozart has it, and the Angels win this one. Angels move into first place, percentage points ahead of the Houston Astros with the 2-1 win. Not a lot of offense tonight. Lance McCullers pitched well. Andrew Heaney pitched a little bit better, and Justin Anderson, the kid out of Houston, Texas, picks up his first big league save against the Astros. We will have more, including the post-game show after this Angels 2-1 victory.
Hey.